Thank you for joining us for this UAE Food and Beverage webinar. Santander is very happy to be supporting the British contingent at Gulfood 2017. Gulfood is one of the biggest food and drink exhibitions in the world, and runs for a week at the end of February in Dubai. We're very happy to be supporting the British contingent along with our local delivery partner, the British Centre for Business. I'm very pleased to be joined today by Ali, who is the food and beverage expert at the British Centre for Business, who will tell us a little bit about food and beverage in the UAE, the massive opportunity for UK companies, and what businesses that are attending or exhibiting Gulfood can expect. Ali, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to your presentation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ali S. Ali, and I manage the food and drink sector at the British Centres for Business. Thank you, Santander, for inviting me to speak at this webinar. Today, I will give you a brief overview on the UAE food and drink sector. But before I do that, let me explain to you what the British Centres for Business is and how we support UK companies wanting to export to the UAE. The British Centres for Business, or the BCB, was established in 2014. The BCB is a UK government-funded entity established by UK Departments of International Trade and British Chambers of Commerce, with a mandate to help UK companies set up, export and expand to the UAE. We work very closely with DIT and all the chambers of us in the UK. We offer incubation and trade services. We provide a UK government incubator scheme where we can obtain trade license for UK companies, and hence they don't need to worry about all the paperwork and hassle required for setting up in Dubai. Under our trade services, we cover various sectors, food and drink being one of them, where we help UK companies connect with relevant local contacts and organize events for them in the UAE. The incubator scheme is developed in full partnership with the Dubai government, and we have full support from them in terms of which is mandatory if you want to set up in Dubai. This slide gives you an overview of the UAE as a country. The UAE is one of the 6 member states of the Gulf Cooperation Council. The other members are Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar and Oman. UAE is made up of 7 cities, or Emirates as they call it here. Abu Dhabi is the political capital. However, Dubai is the commercial capital and well known as a regional hub for all types of goods and services in the Middle East and North Africa region. Currently, UAE's population stands at 9.45 million, but this is growing at a rapid rate, almost 2% annually. 88% of the population is expats, so the UAE offers quite a diverse and multicultural environment for businesses to work in. There are 120,000 Brits in the UAE. UAE is one of the most developed economies in the Middle East, and its growth rate was 3.1% in 2016. The estimate for 2017 is between 3.8 to 4%. The UAE has diversified its economy away from oil, even though it holds 10% of the world's oil reserves, which is expected to last for the next 90 years. Over 5,000 UK companies are doing business in the UAE. The UAE is the primary entry point for a regional market valued at £150 billion. Re-exports from the UAE stood at £93 billion in 2015. It is important to note that SMEs are crucial for the UAE's growth, especially for Dubai. SMEs are the backbone of the Dubai economy. 95% of all registered businesses in the UAE are SMEs. 42% of employment comes from SMEs. And SMEs contribute 45% of Dubai's GDP. So the Dubai government does a lot to attract SMEs from around the world to export and set up in Dubai. Now I'll talk about the UAE food and drink sector and provide you with some interesting stats. The UAE is well known as a food destination and for its 5-star hospitality services. The country's growing population, thriving economy, and profile as one of the world's hottest tourist destinations has only whet the UAE's appetite for quality food products and hospitality services. Gourmet food stores, organic supermarkets, spice souks, specialty food stores, fish markets, international hypermarket chains, and even local convenience stores now stock everything from quail eggs to white truffle oil. There are several stats online on what the UAE food and drink sector value is. Based on Dubai Chamber, this sector was valued at £21 billion in 2014. This figure is based on consumer expenditure. The sector is estimated to reach £27 billion by 2018. Due to harsh climatic conditions and scarce water resources, UAE is heavily reliant upon import for its food supplies. Agriculture represents a very small share of the UAE's economy. Limited homegrown sources in the UAE obviously means that the country's import demand for overseas products is very strong. The UAE imports all kinds of food and drink products. Some of the major ones are fruits and nuts at 11.4%, meat at 10.4%, dairy products at 8.9%, cereals at 8.4%, and oils and vegetables each at 8.2% of the total imports. Total imports from the UK into UAE were £6.4 billion in 2014, out of which £417 million was food and drink. UAE is the UK's biggest export market in the Middle East and North Africa region, and the 12th biggest export market globally. There are various reasons why food and drink thrives in the UAE, especially in Dubai. The top three are UAE's position, population growth, and increase in tourism. UAE's strategic position as the gateway between the three continents of Europe, Asia, and Africa, and the establishment of the many free trade zones have supported the growth in food and drink exports and re-exports from the UAE. Also, the UAE's population is increasing on an average of 2% annually. UAE's sustained population growth and increase in tourist numbers every year creates a solid food market base. There are several regulations you need to consider before exporting to the UAE. A complete guide can be found on the Dubai Municipality website. I've listed a few common regulatory requirements here. All food products imported by the UAE need to be pre-approved by the local municipality. For example, if you are exporting to Dubai, then your products need to be registered and pre-approved by Dubai municipality. You can either do this on your own or via the local importer. UAE treats imported and locally produced food products equally when it comes to food safety regulations and labeling. All food shipments in the UAE are inspected to ensure compliance with labeling and shelf life regulations. All labels must be written in Arabic or both Arabic and English. The labeling must be difficult to remove or alter and must be clear and easy to read. Production expiry dates must be engraved, embossed, printed, or stamped directly onto the packaging at the time of production. Production and expiry dates printed on stickers are not acceptable. Only one set of production and expiry dates on labels is permitted. If the shelf life of the product is less than 3 months, then production and expiry dates would need to be in day, month, year format. If the shelf life of the product is more than 3 months, then production expiry dates can either be in day, month, year format or just month and year format. All shipments are inspected in the UAE. However, certain foodstuffs such as baby foods and edible oils get sampled frequently for analysis at the central laboratory. When the consignment has been sampled for analysis, the decision as to their fitness normally takes 5 working days or more depending on the item. All meat and poultry products must be accompanied by a halal certificate prior to exporting to the UAE. Animal fats and ingredients such as beef gelatin and confectionery also need to have a halal certificate. There is a 5% duty rate on most imported food and drink products which enter the UAE. Alcoholic beverages are subject to duty of 50%. As mentioned before, there are other regulatory requirements that may be specific to certain types of food and food products. Please check the Dubai Municipality website to obtain more information on rules and regulations to export to the UAE. There are many opportunities in the UAE food and drink sector. I've listed some of the main ones on this slide. The halal food industry is growing at a rapid rate globally and especially within the UAE. GCC countries are expected to import £37 billion worth of halal food by 2020. The UAE's consumption alone of halal food was valued at around £14 billion in 2012. Muslim consumers are one of the fastest growing markets in the world, hence represent a major growth opportunity for UK companies. The trend towards organic food in the region is still in its infancy, but it's growing rapidly. Within the region, the UAE is the biggest and fastest growing market for organic food. Popular organic foods include those specifically targeted at children, as well as dairy and fruits and vegetables. With most organic products being imported, apart from the higher costs involved in growing them, their retail prices are sometimes 4 to 5 times more than the conventional food items. Apart from the usual hypermarkets and supermarkets that sell a variety of organic food products, there's been an increase in the stores that only sell organic and healthy food products. The UAE confectionery market grew by 94.7% between 2004 and 2010, compared to 18.6% in the UK during the same period. Chocolates take up the biggest share of the confectionery sector. The UAE confectionery market was valued at £232 million in 2015. You can find most of the international brands here, and there truly is a huge demand for the best international brands to be available in the market. There's a huge market for drinks in the UAE, which is expected to reach £3.9 billion by 2018. The UAE is an Islamic country, so there are restrictions on the sale and consumption of alcohol. This, along with the hot and humid climate, has facilitated strong growth in the soft drink sector, which includes bottled water, juices, flavored water and energy drinks. Soft drinks take around 80% of the drinks market. Imported water is generally successful in major hotels and restaurants. Tea and coffee have a very long history in the UAE. More than 19,000 kilograms of tea is consumed in the UAE every day, and the UAE is also the world's largest re-exporter of tea. The UAE has very high rates of obesity and diabetes. 1 in 5 people in the UAE is diabetic. The UAE government is under increasing pressure to reduce this rate. UAE consumers have also become increasingly aware of the links between their diets and their health, with many seeking to live a more active and healthy lifestyle. These trends have resulted in huge opportunities for healthy product lines such as dairy-free, gluten-free, sugar-free, organic and superfoods. As I mentioned before, there are many opportunities in the UAE. Apart from these 5, there are good opportunities for supplying dairy products, gourmet food, seafood and several other categories to the UAE. This slide gives you information on Gulfood and our plans for the exhibition this year. Gulfood is the world's largest annual food exhibition. With over 5,000 exhibitors and 95,000 visitors, Gulfood provides companies access to local, regional and international supplies in the food and drink sector. This year, Gulfood is scheduled from 26th February to 2nd March. The BCB is organizing a program for the DIT and Santander trade missions, which will include several activities, such as forwarding delegate details to more than 100 key local contacts, submitting a detailed sector report, which will include latest stats and figures on the UAE food and drink sector, along with opportunities and key players in the market. We will organize a briefing session where we will get local government authorities and well-known UAE distributors to talk about the market and regulatory requirements. There will be 2 Meet the Buyer events at the stores of a couple of large retailers. We'll also organize a networking reception which will be hosted by the UK Minister and would have around 60 plus local buyers in attendance. And finally, we'll organize store visits where the delegates will be able to visualize how the products would look like at the stores here and get a better understanding of the pricing structures of similar products along with the retail culture. If you'd like to join the trade mission, please get in touch with Santander UK or directly with me. Apart from Gulfood, there are several other trade shows in the UAE for the food and drink sector which you can attend and exhibit at. The major ones are Sial Abu Dhabi, Specialty Food Festival, Yumex, CFEX, and Gulfood Manufacturing. I'm more than happy to organize a program for companies like the one we are doing for Gulfood, organize meetings for companies attending these exhibitions with key local retailers, distributors, and food service operators. This slide shows some of the clients we have worked with in the past, a mix of incubator and trade service clients from the food and drink sector. We have supported them in several ways. For example, we have helped Tudero's international setup in the UAE. We have helped Falcon Food Service and Meat Promotion Wales by organizing an event for them at the British Embassy in Dubai. We have helped the A2 Milk Company, FJ Neat Foods, and Love Smoothies connect with relevant local contacts and arrange meetings for them. We have recently worked with Shams Water and Ministry of Cake by introducing them to relevant food and drink contacts in the UAE. If you'd like to see names of all the clients we have supported, please visit our website, which is www.bcbuae.com. So this brings us to the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please let me know. My contact details are mentioned on this slide. Thank you.